If you believe fate can be cruel, hit subscribe, because mine showed up bleeding on my porch. I used to joke that my life was a bad romance novel, wrong men, worse timing, tragicomic endings. But that morning, when the storm split the tree line and a half-dead alpha collapsed at my feet with a little boy clinging to his shredded coat, I stopped laughing. He didn't remember his name. He didn't remember his pack. But somehow, he remembered how to smolder. His eyes, storm gray, rimmed with gold, locked on me, and my wolf went silent like she knew him, like she'd been waiting. That's when I smelled it, fated mate heat under the metallic tang of blood. And that's when I realized the universe was setting me up again, because this wasn't a rescue, this was a rerun, and I was about to fall for the man who once tried to destroy me. Chapter 1. My name's Tessa Vale, 27, Omega-class shifter, professional sarcasm enthusiast, and part-time herbalist to the lost souls of Silverpine Ridge, the kind of mountain town where secrets grow thicker than the fog. I live alone in a cabin that smells like pine, sage, and regret. My family, what's left of them, would call it self-exile. I call it Tuesday after the pack banished me for unstable lineage. Translation: my great-grandmother may or may not have been half-witch. I built my life out of small things. Honeyed tea, porch repairs, and pretending the moon didn't whisper my real name. Everything quiet. Everything predictable. Until the night fate decided to body-slam my peace. It started with a growl, low, ragged, close enough to rattle my spine. Then came the crash of branches and the scent of iron-rich blood cutting through the rain. My first thought? Great. Another drunk hunter who thinks silver bullets are a personality trait. Second thought? Why does the storm suddenly sound desperate? I grabbed my crossbow, not for drama, just habit, and stepped into the clearing. Lightning flared white-hot, showing me the shape of a man staggering forward, a smaller figure tucked against his chest. He dropped to his knees, the child whimpering softly, and the smell hit me full force. Alpha power layered beneath pain, dominance smothered under exhaustion. "Hey, you're trespassing!" I shouted over the rain. "This land's private!" The man looked up and the world went slow. His eyes caught the light like trapped moons. He blinked, swayed, and whispered, "Mate?" My wolf, traitorous thing, nearly purred. I should have run, I should have done anything except close the distance. But the healer in me moved first. He collapsed before I reached him. The boy, maybe 6, clung tighter, whispering, "Daddy, wake up, Daddy." My stomach twisted. Oh, moon's mercy. I crouched, checking vitals, strong pulse, deep claw marks across his back coated in silver burn hunter's work. I pulled my shawl free and pressed it against the wounds. "Hey kid, what's your name?" he sniffled. "Rowan." "Okay, Rowan, let's get your dad inside before he starts leaking memories." By the time I dragged 200 pounds of unconscious alpha through my door, with the grace of a caffeinated raccoon, my floor looked like a crime scene. Rowan hovered beside the couch, eyes wide. "Is he gonna die?" "Not on my furniture," I muttered, grabbing my medkit. "What happened out there?" "Hunters," he whispered. "They were after me." Something in that confession made my wolf snap awake. "After you?" He nodded, curls plastered to his forehead. "They said Daddy took something." Fantastic. Just what I needed. Fugitives, hunters, and cosmic irony. I worked fast, cleaning the wounds, applying poultice. When I peeled back the torn shirt, a faint scar shimmered under the silver burns, an old bite mark just above his heart. My breath caught that mark, matched mine. I'd gotten mine years ago, an accident, a childhood dare gone wrong, a wolf pup's teeth at a moon festival, the sting of destiny, and a boy who vanished before dawn. No way it could be him. No way fate could be that cruel. Yet here he was, the echo of that bite burned into his skin. Hours later the storm quieted. He stirred, muscles tensing beneath my blanket. I sat nearby pretending not to stare. "Easy," I said. "You're safe mostly. Don't bleed on the couch." He blinked at me, confusion softening into focus. Where am I? My cabin, I replied. Try not to shift, you'll reopen your wounds. He frowned. Who are you? Tessa, resident Omega T-Witch, occasional savior of clueless alphas. His lips twitched, like the concept of humor was faintly familiar. You helped me. Yeah, well, you fell in my yard. It felt rude to let you die on my hydrangeas. That earned a ghost of a smile. You're not afraid of me? Should I be? He looked down at his hands, claws half-formed. Most are. I leaned back, arms crossed. I've dated worse. His brow furrowed. I don't remember. Your name, I guessed. He nodded slowly. Just flashes. A woman's voice, smoke, then nothing. Amnesia, huh? I said. Lucky you. I'd kill to forget my exes. Rowan patted closer, slipping his small hand into the alpha's daddy? The man froze. His eyes flicked to the boys, then to me, panic flickering. He's mine? Either that or the world's most loyal tax deduction, I said softly. He saved you. Something primal softened in his gaze. He squeezed the child's hand, voice rough. Thank you, Rowan. The boy smiled, relief flooding his face. My chest ached. I brewed tea, my grandmother's blend for healing, and the scent filled the cabin. Rosemary, moonflower, honey. The alpha's nose twitched. His expression shifted. Recognition, disbelief, hunger. That smell, he whispered. I know it. Yeah, it's called tea. Revolutionary stuff. He shook his head. No, you, that scent, it's dangerous, I offered. Familiar. His pupils dilated. My wolf answered with a low, involuntary rumble. Great. Now even my biology was flirting. He looked at me like I'd stolen something from him, and he wanted it back. What are you? Tired, I said quickly, turning away, and apparently magnetic to trouble. He stayed awake through dawn, fighting the tremors as memories slashed in and out like bad radio. I kept him hydrated, ignored the way his voice wrapped around my name like he'd said it 1,000 times before. Tessa, he murmured once, eyes unfocused. They said you were poison. My breath caught. Who said that? He blinked, lost again. I don't know, but I feel it. Guilt. I swallowed the panic rising in my throat. The old rumors about my cursed bloodline, the witch-wolf hybrid scandal, had followed me for years if he had believed them once. I forced a smile. Maybe you're just allergic to me. Most men are. He actually laughed, low, broken, beautiful, and I hated how much I wanted to keep him laughing. By morning, the world felt suspended. 2 strangers and a child bound by accident, and something older, Rowan slept curled beside his father. I made breakfast because it felt safer than thinking. He joined me at the counter, moving stiffly. You should have left me out there. Yeah, I considered it, I said, flipping pancakes. But then I remembered Karma's my roommate. His lips twitched. You have a strange sense of mercy. I call it balance. You live, you owe me dishes. He chuckled softly, and for one dangerous heartbeat, peace felt possible. Until the sound of an engine echoed up the mountain road. Hunters, or worse. His wolf surged under his skin, memory slamming back with brutal force. Tessa, he growled, eyes glowing gold. They'll kill you if they find me here. And that's how I learned my patient wasn't just any alpha, he was Cade Wolf, heir to the Blackridge pack, and the same man whose Luna once destroyed my life. Chapter 2. The moment he said my name like a growl and not a question, something inside me snapped awake. Cade Wolf. The alpha whose Luna had once called me Witchblood, the man whose orders had driven my family from our pack territory 5 years ago. And he was sitting in my kitchen, half-healed, half-naked, looking at me like his heart had just been ripped open. Fate, you conniving troll. Get away from the window, he hissed, moving fast for a man who'd been unconscious 12 hours ago. He shoved me back from the glass, shielding me with his body as headlights slashed through the rain outside. "Excuse you," I muttered, hands pressed to his chest. "I live here. You're the intruder, remember?" "Not anymore," he said, scanning the tree line. "They tracked us this far. They won't stop." I tilted my head. They being hunters, maybe rogues, maybe both. Fantastic. I just mopped. He shot me a sharp look that said not the time. But my sarcasm's a defense mechanism, like garlic to vampires or therapy to men. He turned toward the couch, scooping Rowan into his arms with careful strength. The boy stirred, murmuring in his sleep. I lowered my voice. "You remember now, don't you?" His jaw flexed. "Pieces. Care to share with the class?" His silence said enough. The way his shoulders tensed told me the memory wasn't kind. He stayed near the doorway, every muscle wired tight. When he spoke, it was like he had to drag the words out. "There was an ambush near the border. I was tracking something. Someone. My beta was with me. Then, pain, silver burn, a woman's voice." He pressed a hand to his temple. She said, "Make her pay." A chill skated down my spine. She? His eyes lifted to mine. Haunted. My Luna. Of course, the ex-Luna who'd ruined everything she'd told the council that I used blood magic on Cade's father, the old Alpha, after healing him from infection. The old man died a week later. I was exiled for tampering with sacred life. The fact that I'd used nothing stronger than rosemary and lunar salt didn't matter. Luna Mara had sealed my fate with a single lie, and Cade, young, grieving, newly crowned Alpha, had believed her. Now, standing in my cabin, he looked like a man clawing his way through guilt and half-buried truth. "Cade," I said carefully, "why were you running with Rowan? What happened to her?" His eyes darkened. "She's dead." I blinked. "Dead?" He nodded once. 2 weeks ago. Pack Council declared it an accident. I woke up in the woods with her blood on my hands." The words hit like cold water. "You think you—" "No," he said quickly, shaking his head. "But someone wanted me to. I can feel it. The poison, the fog in my mind, it wasn't natural." My breath hitched. "You were cursed." He met my gaze. "You'd know." There it was, the quiet accusation under the gratitude. My fingers itched to slap him, or maybe to shake him till he remembered who'd really saved him. Instead, I forced a smile sharp enough to cut glass. "Still poetic, even concussed. Good to know amnesia didn't kill your charm." He took a slow breath and his pupils flared again, wolf to wolf, bond to bond. "When I smelled you, something in me cleared. Like I'd been underwater and you were air. Congratulations, you're welcome." "Tessa." His tone shifted, command wrapped in apology. "You're my mate." I laughed so hard I nearly spilled the tea. "Sure, and I'm the tooth fairy." "I'm serious." "Oh, I can tell. You've got the eyes and everything." I waved a hand. "You also had a Luna 2 weeks ago. I'm not exactly buying the soulmate clearance sale narrative." He stepped closer. "You feel it too, don't lie." The air thickened, that electric hum between fated mates crawling under my skin. My wolf trembled, her heartbeat syncing with his. The bond thrummed, faint but real, like a thread tugging through time. I swallowed hard. "Even if I did, doesn't mean I want it." He flinched like I'd hit him. "You shouldn't. I betrayed you." "Good to know your memory's back where it counts." Silence stretched. Rain drummed on the roof, thunder distant now. Rowan stirred on the couch, whispering in his sleep. Cade's face softened immediately. I watched him. This deadly, beautiful creature holding his son like a shield. Something inside me cracked. Because whatever else he'd done, he loved that boy with a purity that burned. "I didn't know," he said finally, voice low. "About the lies, about what she did to you. Mara, she told me your bloodline carried corruption, that you wanted power, not healing. I thought—" He stopped himself, guilt closing his throat. "You thought I was poison," I finished for him. He looked at me then, and there was nothing alpha about his expression, just regret, raw and human. Yes. I took a long sip of tea to hide the tremor in my hand. And yet here you are, still breathing my air. Fate's got jokes. A bang at the door shattered the fragile peace. Rowan bolted upright with a cry. Cade's wolf surfaced instantly, a low snarl vibrating through the cabin walls. I grabbed my crossbow. How many? He sniffed the air, eyes flashing gold. 3, human, silver weapons. Good, I said, loading a bolt. I was getting bored. His lips twitched, a ghost of that dangerous smile, still reckless. Still breathing, I shot back. We moved as if we'd done it 100 times. Me covering the window, him circling to the door. Rowan crouched behind the couch. I caught his glance, sharp, assessing, protective. And for a moment, the bond hummed again. Then the doorknob rattled. The first hunter burst through, rifle raised. Cade moved faster than sight. One strike, weapon down, man out cold. The second fired, silver rounds slicing air. I dove low, shot him clean through the shoulder. Still a good shot, Cade muttered. Still underappreciated, I panted. The third man hesitated at the threshold. Alpha Wolf, he said, voice shaking. You're supposed to be dead. Cade's growl rolled like thunder. Guess someone misinformed you. Then something snapped in his mind, like a dam breaking. He froze mid-step, gasping. His head whipped toward me, eyes blazing. Tessa, she wasn't just lying about you, she used you. What? Mara, she took your blood during your exile trial, said it was evidence of your curse, but she kept it, used it to... He staggered, clutching his chest as a wave of memory hit him. To mark me, to bind me. My stomach dropped. Blood magic, that's why you couldn't see the truth. He nodded weakly, and now it's breaking. Before I could respond, the last hunter fled into the trees. Cade swayed, dropping to one knee. His pulse flickered, power unstable. I caught him before he hit the floor, his weight solid, his breath hot against my neck. You stubborn idiot, I whispered. You should have stayed in bed. His hand fisted in my sleeve, voice rough. If I did, you'd be dead. By dawn, the hunters were gone. Leaving only silence and the scent of silver smoke, I cleaned the wounds again, pretending my hands didn't shake every time they brushed his skin. When he finally looked up, exhaustion etched deep, he said softly, You saved me twice now. Don't make it a habit. Why help me at all? His voice cracked. After what I did, I met his eyes steady. Because the truth doesn't erase mercy, and because your son needed you alive. He exhaled, long and quiet. You're not what they said. Neither are you, I whispered back. And for the first time in years, the air between us didn't smell like betrayal. It smelled like forgiveness, trying to grow roots. Chapter 3. By the time the second storm rolled in, my cabin smelled like antiseptic, burnt silver, and bad decisions. Cade lay stretched across my couch, shirtless again. Not because I was trying to torture myself, but because his back looked like a hunter's practice target. Rowan was curled up in my armchair, wrapped in the quilt my grandmother sewed when I was born, little chest rising and falling steady as a metronome. Me? I was pacing a groove into my floorboards and pretending my mate bond wasn't humming like a broken neon sign. If you were me right now, banished Omega, secret witch blood, accidental nursemaid to the Alpha who helped ruin your life, tell me honestly, would you forgive your mate or burn it all down? Drop your answer in the comments because my wolf keeps voting mate, and my trauma is firmly team scorched earth. Cade groaned, dragging me out of my thoughts. His fingers twitched, claws half-formed, eyes moving under his lids like he was running in his dreams. Nightmare, I muttered. Of course. I knelt beside the couch, fingers hovering above his shoulder. Heat pulsed under his skin, magic tugging at me like static. My grandmother had always said my bloodline was a bridge, between wolf and witch, body and spirit, I swallowed. Just once I'd like to be a bridge to normalcy. His breathing hitched. Mara, he rasped in his sleep, face twisted. Tessa, don't. Please. The sound of my name in that voice bruised something inside me. Screw it. I pressed my palm lightly to his temple and let my power slip free, just a little. Warmth spread under my skin, humming low and soft. Images flickered against my mind, like someone flipping channels too fast. I saw a moonlit hall, a gold crown. Mara's hand on Cade's arm. Nails painted the color of blood. I saw myself on my knees before the council, wrists bound in silver, Mara's eyes gleaming as she lifted a vial, my blood glinting inside. Corrupted, she'd said back then, voice like silk over steel, her very essence twists fate. You can feel it, can't you, my alpha? And Cade, God's younger, sharper, eyes full of grief for his dying father, had stepped back when I reached for him back in my cabin, his body jolted. I jerked my hand away like I'd been burned. Cade's eyes flew open, pupils blown wide, chest heaving. Tessa? I'm here, I said, a little too quickly. He stared at me, gaze laser-focused, no trace of fog. You were in my head. Technically, your nightmare was in my head, I said. If it makes you feel better, your ex still has terrible taste in lipstick. A weak laugh broke out of him, then died fast. You saw it. The trial. The blood. I forced my shoulders back. Yeah. Lovely memory lane. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend repressing it again. He pushed himself upright with a wince, muscles taut. Why didn't you tell me? What? That your Luna stole my blood to curse you and frame me in the same afternoon? I kind of assumed you were busy believing every word she said. His mouth flattened. I deserve that. You deserve worse, I said softly. But I'm running low on creative punishments. Rain thickened outside, drumming a rhythm that matched the thud in my chest. Cade scrubbed a hand over his face, the shadows under his eyes darker than before. When did you leave? He asked. After the trial, I replied, that same night. Council exiled me. My parents didn't fight it. They packed a bag and told me it was for the good of the pack. I snorted. Spoiler, it was for the good of their social standing. Cade's gaze sharpened. Your parents didn't defend you? Oh, they did, I said, voice going flat. They defended our reputation, our donations, our seat in the front row of moon festivals. Me? I lifted my chin. I was expendable. His hands curled into fists. I should have known. I should have questioned. You'd just lost your father, I cut in. You were grieving, and Mara knew exactly which wounds to press. His eyes burned. That doesn't excuse what I did. No, I agreed, but it explains why you were stupid. He blinked, then huffed out a broken laugh. You're brutally honest. Perk of exile, I said. No one left to impress. Rowan shifted in the armchair, rubbing his eyes. Daddy. Cade was beside him in a heartbeat. The conversation shoved abruptly aside. I'm here, pup. Rowan blinked sleepily at both of us. Did the bad men come back? No, I said, perching on the coffee table. We convinced them it was a terrible career choice. His gaze moved between us, pupils still dilated from fear. Are we staying here? Cade hesitated. That pause told me everything. We can't stay long, he said finally. It's not safe for Tessa, or for you. We've been over this, I cut in. The hunters already know you're alive. The only way they're not finding you is if I cloak the whole ridge. You step outside that barrier, you glow like a neon eat-me sign to anyone with a grudge. Rowan frowned. What's a neon? Bright, annoying and hard to ignore, I said. Like your father. Cade shot me a look. I smiled sweetly. How long can you cloak us? He asked quietly. I shrugged one shoulder. Depends how much coffee I drink and whether the moon's in a mood. A few days, maybe a week if I stretch. A week? He glanced at Rowan. Long enough to untangle this. Untangle what? I asked, even though my heartbeat already knew. He met my eyes, and there it was again. That thread between us, pulling tight. Mara's web. The council. Your exile. My missing memory. None of it is random. Of course it's random, I said quickly. It's fate. Fate is chaos with better branding. Tessa. His voice dropped, alpha deep. You're not just some bystander I hurt once. She made you the center of all of this. Your blood, my mind, the hunters chasing Rowan. It's all connected to you. I swallowed. I don't exactly find that reassuring. For a moment, the cabin felt too small for all the truth hanging between us. My wolf prowled under my skin, torn between curling against him and clawing her way out of here. Cade watched me like a man who'd finally found water, and was trying not to drown in it. Why do you live out here alone? He asked suddenly. There are other packs that would take you in, rogue settlements, safe houses. Because people talk, I said. Rumors travel faster than wolves. Word gets out that I've got witch blood and I healed an alpha who died anyway. I become their worst nightmare. The girl who proves their faith doesn't always work. I lifted my chin. Out here, I only have to deal with hunters and weather. They're honest about wanting me dead. His expression twisted. You're not cursed, Tessa. Oh, I know, I said lightly, but you'd be amazed how little truth matters when fear wants a scapegoat. He went quiet, jaw ticking. Outside, lightning flickered along the ridge like warning signs. We need answers, Cade said finally. About Mara, about what she did to both of us. I can't protect Rowan or you without knowing where the attack came from. I can tell you where it started, I said, standing. Pack archives, the old bloodline records, the ones your father had under lock and key. His eyes sharpened. You think this goes back that far? I think your ex-Luna didn't pull witch blood out of thin air, I replied. Someone fed her that story. Someone who knew my great-grandmother crossed with a seer lupus line and kept it buried. Who? He pressed. I smiled, humorless. Well, we could ask the council members who signed my exile order, assuming they don't try to kill me on sight. Rowan's small voice cut in, Daddy won't let them. He looked at his son, and something in his chest cracked right there in front of me. No, he said. I won't. I took a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Step 1, I cloak the ridge. Step 2, no one leaves the barrier without my say-so. Step 3, you give me every memory fragment you've got, even the ones that hurt. Step 4, we figure out why your dead Luna wanted me erased so badly she cursed her own mate. Step 5? Cade asked. Step 5, I said. We try not to die. I'll put that on a vision board later. He huffed out a laugh. It didn't quite reach his eyes, but it was real. You're different than I remember. I froze. You remembered me? His own surprise flickered. Not clearly, just impressions. A girl at the Moon Festival, laughing with her whole body, the scent of rosemary and smoke, hands that didn't shake, even when my father was at his worst. His gaze softened. I thought I dreamed you up. My heart did that annoying stutter thing again. You didn't. You just forgot how to listen. Listen to what? He asked quietly. Your wolf, I said. He always knew I wasn't your enemy. Our eyes held. For one dizzy second, the bond surged, hot, insistent, undeniable. Every cell in my body leaned toward him like gravity had rebranded as Cade Wolf. Then Rowan cleared his throat. I'm hungry. The spell snapped. I stepped back so fast I almost tripped over my own dignity. Right, breakfast, I said. Let's see what we can make with fear, regret, and 3 eggs. While I cooked, Cade sat at the table with Rowan, quietly cataloging every memory that came to him. Names of council members. The night Mara started sleeping in a separate room. The strange way she'd smile when healers visited the pack. Little things, jagged pieces, I scribbled it all down on the back of old supply invoices. The witch in me already mapping patterns. The omega in me counting how many ways this could go horribly wrong. You're Beta, I said, tapping the page. The one who was with you during the ambush. Can you see his face? Cade frowned, eyes unfocusing. Jace Marrow. He was my closest friend. Was, I repeated. His mouth tightened. He's the one who led me into the clearing where Mara died. I went very still. You think he set you up? I think, Cade said slowly, that the woman I trusted to share my bed and the man I trusted to guard my back were both looking at someone other than me when they made their plans. Someone higher? I guessed. Someone older, he said. My father always said the alpha seat doesn't just belong to a wolf. It belongs to an idea. And some people will burn the world before they let that idea change. My skin prickled, because suddenly this didn't feel like just a jealous Luna story. This felt like a war brewing over bloodlines and power, one my existence threatened by being proof that mixed blood could hold power without going dark. Great, I muttered. So I'm not just a scapegoat, I'm a revolution. You're not alone, Cade said quietly. I glanced at him. The honesty in his eyes was almost worse than the old betrayal. You sure? Because last time I checked, your pack kind of voted me off the island. They followed me, he said, and I followed a lie. That ends now. Outside, the rain finally slowed to a mist. The world held its breath. I wiped my hands on a towel and stepped onto the porch, bare feet against cool wood. Cade followed, Rowan hovering just behind him. I closed my eyes, reached inward, and tugged at the thin silver thread of power coiled inside my ribs. The inheritance everyone feared. The thing I'd spent years hiding, moon above, earth below, I murmured. Shield what's within, confuse what's without. Let those who seek harm lose their way. Wind stirred, swirling around us. My cabin lights flickered, then steadied. The air thickened with the sharp scent of sage and electric pine. Cade watched me like I was something ancient and holy. It made my skin itch and warm. You just cloaked us, he said softly. Yeah, I replied, a little breathless. Congratulations, you're now under my protection. Try not to bleed on everything as a thank you. He smiled, small but genuine. What does it cost you? I hesitated. Sleep, energy, blood if I push too hard. But don't worry, I'm used to losing things. His expression shuddered. You're not losing me, not again. He said it like a promise. My wolf believed him. My heart wanted to. I looked up at him, the barrier humming around us, destiny snarling at the edges. We'll see, Alpha, I said. Because if you're staying, we're going to break this curse, expose whoever pulled the strings. And when the truth comes out? I held his gaze, feeling the future crackling between us. They'll come for me all over again. Only this time, I won't be alone when they do. Chapter 4. If the universe had a sense of timing, it was the petty kind. The kind that sent your ex's family to your driveway the moment you put on pajama pants you didn't want anyone to see you in. Because the next morning, just as Rowan was brushing his teeth with the wrong side of the toothbrush and Cade was pretending not to watch me as I made tea, I felt it a ripple, a disturbance, a signature in the air I hoped I'd never feel again. Pack wolves, not rogues, not hunters. Blackridge. Cade felt it too. His head snapped toward the window, eyes narrowing, wolf rising like a tide. 2 trackers, one with beta range strength. Great. Just great. I wiped my palms on my shirt and muttered, "Good morning to me." Rowan blinked up at us innocently. Are they bad guys? Depends, I said. Do they believe everything they're told? Cade's jaw flexed. Tessa? I know, I cut in. We can't run. Hunters outside the barrier, pack inside it. We're boxed in like emotionally complicated sardines. He huffed a laugh despite the tension. Only you. Someone has to lighten the mood, I shot back. The wolves aren't going to do it. But inside, my stomach was a cold pit. Because I recognized one of those signatures, the heavier one, the sharper one, Beta Jace Marrow. The man who'd grown up with Cade, the man who smiled at me the night of my exile. Not kindly, but like he already knew how it would end. And now he was here, in my forest, at my doorstep. The knock was polite. That was how I knew something was very, very wrong. Cade's wolf surged to the surface, eyes going molten gold. I grabbed his arm. Not yet. They'll scent me, he growled. They'll scent us. I cloaked the ridge. They'll smell faint traces of wolf, but not you. Then I swallowed. Unless your bond with me woke up more than we realized. He stilled. You think they'll scent the bond? Let's find out, I said, opening the door before he could stop me. The first tracker, Lucas, looked the same, bearded, bulky, carrying the sweet, stale scent of someone who never left pack territory. The second stood a few steps behind, his presence heavy as a winter storm. Beta Jace. His dark eyes swept over me without surprise. Omega Tessa Vale. Oh, good. Not even pretending we weren't enemies. I leaned against the doorframe. Beta Jace, congratulations. You found the one exile who wasn't hiding. His expression didn't change. We tracked Alpha Wolf's scent trail to the ridge. It ends here. Trail ends near here, I said. Could have veered off anywhere. Mountains do this thing called being enormous. Very inconvenient for trackers. Lucas cleared his throat. Mind if we come in? Yes, I said sweetly. I do. Jace's eyebrow lifted. You're alone out here. Obviously, I lied. Unless you count the squirrels, they're my emotional support rodents. His scent was strong, Jace said, stepping forward. Fresh. He inhaled deeply, wolf instincts searching for Cade. Then something flickered in his eyes. Recognition. Not of Cade, of me. Specifically, the bond. He tilted his head. There's power here, witch blood if I'm not mistaken. I smiled with all the warmth of a thorn patch. Oh, don't flatter me. I wouldn't waste magic on greeting you. Lucas tensed. Beta. She's cloaked the area, Jace murmured. Very advanced work. Not something an Omega should be able to do. My jaw clenched. Good thing I'm not just an Omega. His eyes sharpened. Where is the Alpha? I crossed my arms. Where's your warrant? He stared at me. I stared back. Cade stayed silent behind the wall, Rowan curled in his lap, both of their heartbeats thundering in my ears. Jace exhaled slowly. Tessa, help me understand. Why would Cade come here? Why would he possibly seek you? Oh, I don't know, I said, tapping my chin. Maybe for the same reason you and your dearly departed Luna framed me? Maybe my bloodline is good for more than witchy party tricks? His jaw ticked barely. But enough. I took that as my tiny victory for the day. We want to bring him home, Jace said. The pack is fractured. His absence weakens us. And him being murdered would strengthen you? I asked. His expression didn't flicker. His Luna's death was a tragedy. Was it? I asked quietly. Because I'm getting the sense she wasn't the only one pulling strings. Jace's eyes glinted with something sharp. Too sharp for someone grieving. Careful, Tessa. I stepped closer. Or what? You'll exile me again? His nostrils flared. If Cade is with you, bring him out now. If he's not, then you have no reason not to let us search. I smiled a slow, wicked thing. Except the part where I hate you. Jace leaned in, voice dropping. You think you're safe out here? You think the pack forgot what you are? Yes, I said. That was the entire point of exile. A muscle in his cheek jumped. He stepped back. We'll continue searching the ridge, but if Cade comes to you, if he remembers anything, tell him the truth. Which truth? I asked. Yours or mine? He didn't answer. He turned, shifting effortlessly into a massive ash-gray wolf. Lucas followed. As they disappeared into the trees, Cade finally stepped out of hiding. Rowan clutching his shirt, I shut the door and threw the deadbolt. Okay, I said, exhaling shakily. That was not fun. Cade came up behind me, voice low. He scented the bond. I nodded, not trusting my voice. He didn't scent me, he added. He scented us. Even worse, I muttered. Now he'll start asking questions. He already is. Cade leaned against the doorframe, exhaustion dragging at him. Tessa, Jace wasn't lying about one thing. Oh, I said, arms crossed. Which part? The guilt-tripping? The half-threats? The dramatic eyebrow? He wants me home. Yeah, I snapped, so he can finish what he started. Cade stiffened. You think he set me up? I know he did, I said, stepping close. The memory you had, the clearing, the fog, the fact you were attacked from behind and he didn't take a single hit. Cade, he led you there. Cade's voice dropped to a dangerous rumble. He wouldn't. Your Luna would, I shot back, and he would follow her orders. Memory slammed into him. I saw it in his eyes. The betrayal, the trust broken, the realization that his beta, his brother in arms, might have held the knife. He braced both hands on the counter, breathing hard. My pack, he said, voice splintering, is compromised, I finished. And right now, only the three of us are on the right side. Rowan climbed onto a stool, blinking innocently. Are we the good guys? I touched his hair gently. We're the ones trying to survive. That's close enough. Cade's voice softened to ash. I trusted him. I know, I whispered. His head bowed. I trusted her. This time I didn't hold back. I reached out, resting my hand over his. You won't make that mistake again. He looked up slowly, pain in his eyes, regret in the lines of his mouth, and the bond between us pulled tight, like a heartbeat trying to sink. Tessa, he murmured, I don't deserve your forgiveness. Good, I said, because I'm not done being mad at you. He huffed a breath that was half laugh, half broken thing, but he didn't let go of my hand. I didn't let go either. Cade straightened suddenly, head tilting toward the woods. Someone else is coming. My heart stuttered. More trackers? He shook his head. No. One wolf. Familiar scent. I frowned. Who? He hesitated long enough that my wolf bristled in warning. Tessa, he said finally, voice tight. It's your mother. My blood turned to ice. Because if my mother was here, in the woods she swore she'd never step into, then this wasn't just a pack problem, this was a bloodline problem. And whatever truth she brought with her was the one I'd spent my entire life running from. Chapter 5. My mother shouldn't have been able to find me. Not here. Not through a barrier I'd woven tight with bloodline magic and salt-soaked moonlight. But mothers have a way of ignoring closed doors, and in my case, reinforced mystical boundaries apparently counted as just another door. She stepped out of the fog like she belonged to it, her boots silent on pine needles, her expression carved from the same stone as the mountains we called home. Elara Vale, the woman who raised me with rigid rules and colder affection, the woman who told me my gifts made me dangerous, the woman who sat in the front row and said nothing while her daughter was exiled. And she looked older, weaker, like guilt had been curdling inside her for years. Cade stiffened beside me, Rowan peeking around his father's leg. My mother's gaze flicked between us and landed square on Cade, sharp, assessing, and uncomfortably knowing. Well, she said, voice cool as creek water. I see the moon hasn't changed her sense of irony. I crossed my arms. If you're here for a mother-daughter bonding retreat, you're about 8 years too late. Her eyes softened for half a second, then shuddered again. I'm here because you're both in danger. Oh, I said pleasantly. Both? How thoughtful. Would you like to specify whether you mean the hunters trying to kill my almost mate danger, or the my family lied about our cursed bloodline danger? Cade glanced at me. Almost mate? I ignored him. My mother inhaled deeply. Tessa, we need to talk. Funny, I said. That's exactly what you said before letting the council exile me. Her throat worked. I didn't know the extent of their intentions then. You knew enough. Silence, heavy, final. Cade stepped forward. Protective stance, instinctive. Wolf rising with that low, territorial rumble. Why are you here? My mother's eyes locked on him, and something ancient flickered there. Because Mara's death did not end what she began. Her work was unfinished. And you, she leveled a finger at him, are about to remember why. Cade's jaw tightened. What do you know about Mara? Everything, she whispered, because I was there when she cast the first spell. My breath left my body. What? Cade snarled. Spell. She didn't work alone, my mother said. She didn't have the strength for a curse that deep. Someone helped her, for a price. And let me guess, I said coldly. You stood by. Again. Her eyes closed briefly. No, Tessa, I paid the price. My mother stepped past us and into the cabin, as casual as if she still lived here. Cade's wolf bristled, but he followed. I let the door close behind me, heart pounding. She sat at my table, the same one she used to scold me at for sneaking spellbooks into breakfast, and folded her hands. Your great-grandmother Moira wasn't just a healer, she began. She was a bloodseer, the last of her line. Cade frowned. Seer? A wolf born with the ability to pierce through illusions, she explained. To see truths others hid, lies others wrapped in silk. Lovely, I muttered. And let me guess, the pack loved her for it. My mother's lips tightened. They feared her. A wolf who can see truth is a threat to those who build their lives on lies. Wow, I said dryly. We really were doomed from the start. Cade's voice rumbled. Mara feared the same thing. My mother nodded. Mara was ambitious, raised to be Luna, taught that power was her birthright. When Moira died, the pack believed the bloodline died with her. Her gaze drifted to me. They were wrong. My stomach twisted. Because of me. Because of you, she confirmed. You inherited Moira's gift, but not fully awakened. Wait, I said, if I'm a seer, why haven't I seen anything? Because it's dormant until triggered, she exhaled, and the trigger is the mate bond. Cade froze. I froze harder. No, I said. Nope. Return to sender. I reject that hypothesis. My mother arched a brow. The bond between you and Alpha Wolf is the catalyst. Moira's first vision came when she met her fated one. Yours is doing the same. I stood so fast my chair scraped. Nuh-uh, pass. I have enough trauma without throwing clairvoyance into the mix. Cade spoke carefully. What does this have to do with Mara? She wanted your bloodline extinguished, my mother said, because she knew someday someone would awaken the seer again, and she feared what you might uncover. What would I uncover? I asked. The truth about how the previous Alpha died, she whispered. My blood iced over. Cade's father. His death was ruled illness, infection. But I had been the healer that day. I'd brought herbs. I'd stayed with him while Cade ran council meetings. I'd whispered comfort while he shook and sweated through fever. I knew with every fiber of my being that my poultice hadn't killed him. And yet, Mara had framed me so she could bury the truth, and bury me. Cade's voice was raw. Tessa, what if she poisoned him? What if she used your blood as the scapegoat? My mother nodded once Cade's face broke. Gods. Rowan slipped closer, touching his father's arm. I pressed a hand over my mouth. I was exiled for healing a dying man, while the real killer sat beside him. My mother's voice softened. There is more. I really don't want there to be, I muttered. Tessa, she said, Mara didn't just use your blood. She bound Cade to her with it. Cade jerked. Bound? Blood binding, my mother said. A forbidden spell that ties an alpha's instincts to another. Not love, not choice, a leash. I stared at Cade, pulse roaring. That's why you couldn't see what she was doing, why you believed her lies, why you didn't question any of it. His voice cracked. I thought I was grieving, I thought I was angry. But the truth is, I was controlled, I whispered. Rowan whimpered. Cade pulled him close, burying his face in his son's hair. My mother watched quietly. You broke the bond when you nearly died. The spell couldn't hold through the silver poisoning. And when you smelled Tessa, the original bond, your true one, began to override the false one. Cade's eyes lifted, bright with something fierce, desperate, painfully honest. Tessa, I never chose her over you, not with my free will. My throat tightened. It doesn't erase what happened. No, he agreed, but it means the man who hurt you wasn't entirely me. I turned away, breathing sharp and uneven. Because if that was true, then the man I'd loved once hadn't really abandoned me. Someone made him. My mother rose slowly, shoulders tense. You need to understand one more thing. Oh, good, I muttered. Another plot twist love that for me. Tessa, she said softly. Mara wasn't working alone. Someone else wanted Moira's bloodline gone, someone powerful, someone high in the pack. Cade's head lifted. Who? My mother hesitated. Then, the council didn't just approve Tessa's exile, she said. They demanded it, and they demanded her blood. I blinked. For what? For a prophecy, she whispered. A prophecy about a seer born to end a dynasty. The air went still. The cabin seemed to shrink. Cade's face went pale. A dynasty? Your dynasty, my mother confirmed. The Wolf bloodline. My heart dropped to my stomach. You're saying, I breathed, that the council tried to kill me because they thought I'd bring down the Alpha line? Yes. And Mara was helping them? Yes. And Cade, my fated mate, was bound like a puppet while they did it? Yes. Cade stood, shoulders trembling with fury. Why didn't you tell anyone? I was sworn to secrecy by Moira, my mother whispered, and by the time I realized Mara planned to use your blood, it was too late. All I could do was hide you. Hide me? I demanded. You let them exile me. I let them exile you, she said, voice cracking for the first time, because exile was safer than staying. Silence, thick, suffocating. Cade stepped toward me, slow, careful, like approaching a wounded wolf. Tessa, he murmured, if this is true, then your life was in danger long before we met. No, I whispered. It became dangerous when we met. Because now everything made sense. The lies, the curse, the exile, the hunters, the attack on Cade. It all circled one truth. Someone in the pack was willing to kill an alpha heir and a seer blood omega to stop a prophecy. Cade's voice dropped to a low vow. We're going to find out who, and we will end this. My mother exhaled shakily. Then you need to know the last part, I swallowed. Which is? She looked at Cade, then at me. Then she whispered, it wasn't just a prophecy. It was a warning. Cade's eyes narrowed. What warning? My mother's voice broke like old glass. When the seer awakens, the alpha she is destined for will either rise to greatness or die because of her. The room spun. Cade stepped closer. Rowan gasped. And I felt the bond snap tight like a noose. Chapter 6. I've been punched by a rogue before. I've been grazed by silver once. I've been lied about, exiled, and called cursed so many times it barely stings anymore. But nothing hit like those final words. The alpha she is destined for will either rise to greatness or die because of her. The prophecy didn't warn me. It warned Cade. I must have gone pale because Cade stepped toward me as if afraid I'd bolt or crumble. Tessa, he murmured, voice low and steady like he was calming a wild creature. Look at me. No, I said, backing up so fast I hit the counter. No, absolutely not. Fate already sabotaged my life. It doesn't get to add homicide to my dating history. He blinked. Dating? Don't get smart with me, Alpha. You're apparently at risk of dying due to me. His lips twitched despite the tension. I'm not dying. You don't know that. I'm not dying, he repeated, especially not because fate said I might. I pointed a shaking finger at him. That is exactly the kind of statement people make right before they die. Is it? Rowan asked thoughtfully. Cade shot him a look. Rowan shrugged. In the movies. My mother cleared her throat, which was impressive considering my entire world had just tilted sideways. Tessa, she said softly. The prophecy is old, unreliable, symbolic even. Oh, great, I snapped. Symbolic death. Much better. Cade's jaw tightened. Prophecy or not, I'm not afraid of you. That's the problem. I threw my hands up. You should be. His eyes flashed with something fierce and unshakable. I trust you. Well, don't. The words came out cracked, raw, too honest. The room went still. My mother's face tightened with regret. Rowan clutched Cade's sleeve. And Cade, stubborn, stupid, heartbreakingly loyal Cade, took another step toward me. Tessa, he said quietly, you're not my danger. You're my clarity. My breath caught Cade. He reached out, brushing his fingers just barely against my arm. Sparks shot up my skin, heat blooming under my ribs. The bond pulsed, sharp, inevitable, hungry. And then, my vision snapped open. Not my own vision, a seer's vision. It happened fast, too fast to brace for. 1 second I was staring at Cade's hand. The next, the world tore sideways. I saw fire, wolves running, a shattered throne room, a silver blade dripping with blood. And Cade. On his knees, collar around his throat, hands bound behind him, head lifted toward a shadowed figure wearing the crest of the Blackridge Alpha. His voice was broken. Don't hurt her. The figure snarled, The seer dies tonight. Sudden agony lanced through Cade's chest, my own chest, like it was shared. Then the vision shattered, I collapsed. Strong arms caught me before I hit the floor. Cade held me tight, panic radiating off him like wildfire. Tessa, he breathed, shaking. Tessa, stay with me. I sucked in a ragged breath, trembling so hard my teeth chattered. I know, he whispered. I felt your power, it crashed through the bond. Bond. The stupid mate bond was awake enough to share visions now. Fantastic. That wasn't symbolic, I gasped. That was literal. Cade, they were going to kill me because of you, and you... My voice broke. You were going to die trying to stop them. His arms tightened. I won't let that happen. You can't protect me from a prophecy. I can, he said fiercely, and I will. I shoved weakly at his chest. You can't just decide to survive because it fits your schedule. Watch me. Rowan climbed onto the couch beside us, eyes huge. Daddy? Cade's voice gentled. I've got her, pup. She's okay. I was not okay. Nothing about this was okay. My mother approached slowly, as if I were an injured animal. The visions will come stronger now, she said. The bond awakened your gift. Perfect, I croaked. Can't wait to see more people I care about dying. Cade flinched at that hard. My mother shot him a pointed look. Alpha Wolf, your presence accelerates the awakening. Your proximity strengthens her sight. He straightened. Good, then she can see what we're fighting. No, I whispered. Cade, you don't get it. If I stay close to you, you'll see more, he asked. You'll die faster. He didn't argue, didn't flinch. He just looked at me like the world lived behind my ribs. Tessa, he said, voice low, steady. If staying close to you kills me, then staying away from you kills me just as surely. Because I am yours. I always have been. I stared at him, stunned. Cade. No, he growled, eyes glowing. I lost years to a binding I never chose. I lost my father, my memory, my freedom. I'm not losing you. If fate wants to test us, fine, let it. My wolf let out a soft, desperate sound, because she believed him. Hell, I believed him. Which was the dangerous part. My mother set a small obsidian bowl on the table. We don't have much time, she said. The council is already moving. They will not let the seer rise. I swallowed hard. What do we need to do? She met my eyes. We need to verify whether Cade's bond to Mara is fully broken. If even a thread remains, it could kill you both. Cade growled, "Test it. Now." She nodded and placed the bowl between us. "Blood," she said. "Yours." Cade didn't hesitate. He sliced his palm with a claw, letting the blood drip. I stared at him. "That was unnecessarily dramatic. I have a kitchen knife." "I'm a wolf," he said. "We bleed with style." I rolled my eyes, lifted the blade, and nicked my own palm. Our blood pooled in the bowl. The surface shimmered. Then the blood split apart. Not mixed, not bonding, repelling like magnets reversed. My mother's breath hitched. "Oh, gods!" "What?" Cade demanded. "This means," she said, voice trembling, "that Mara's false bond is still partially anchored in your spirit." Cade went rigid. "That curse," she whispered, "was designed to kill Tessa the moment your true bond completed." My heart stopped. Cade's eyes flashed with horror. Rowan whimpered, and I whispered the one truth we didn't want to face. "If we complete the mate bond, it will kill me." Chapter 7. There are moments where the world doesn't just tilt, it shatters. Where the air stops moving. Where everyone is so silent the silence itself feels loud. This was one of those moments, because the truth sat between us in an obsidian bowl, swirling and refusing to mix. If Cade and I completed the mate bond, it would kill me, not metaphorically, not symbolically, not in some tragic poetry, moonlit fate kind of way, literally. Cade stared at the blood as if he could will it to behave differently, as if the universe would apologize for the mix-up. "Tessa," he said eventually, voice low enough to make my ribs ache. "This curse, this anchor inside me, it doesn't get to decide our fate." "It literally does," I snapped. "That's its whole job." My mother let out a slow, pained breath. "The curse was crafted with 3 elements: blood, binding, and betrayal. Mara used your bloodline, Cade's bond, and the council's approval." Cade's head jerked up. "The council knew?" "Some," my mother said. "Not all, but enough." "And they'd kill Tessa," he growled, "rather than let the bond complete." "Yes." Rowan sat on the couch, knees pulled to his chest. "Daddy, are we cursed too?" Cade immediately knelt beside him. "No, you're safe." His voice was steady, his hands were steady, his eyes were not. Rowan reached out and touched Cade's cheek. "But she had visions, and you hurt." Cade froze. "How did you—" Rowan blinked slowly. "I saw it, the bad room, the chains, the knife." His voice went small. "The lady who said she wanted Daddy's wolf." My skin prickled head to toe. "Rowan," I whispered, "you saw the vision?" He nodded. Cade stiffened like someone had shot him with a tranquilizer dart. "Pup, only seers can—" My mother inhaled sharply. No, that's impossible. The sight only passes through Tessa's bloodline." My heart dropped. Rowan looked between us, confused. "Did I do something wrong?" "No," Cade said immediately, pulling him close. "Never. You did nothing wrong." But my pulse hammered because the truth was undeniable. Rowan had seer sight, which meant— "He's mine," I whispered, realization crashing into me. "He feels the bond through Cade, through us. That's why he saw it. The vision passed through him." Cade's head snapped toward me. "He can't be dragged into this." "He already is," I said quietly, "whether we want it or not." My mother sat heavily, looking older than I'd ever seen. "If the boy has inherited even a thread of the gift, the council will kill him before they allow the seer line to rise again." Cade stood so fast the chair skidded across the floor. His power crackled in the air. Gold, fierce, dangerous. "They'll touch my son over my dead body." "Cade," I said gently, "that's the point. Someone wants your dead body." His gaze snapped to mine, and something inside him broke. Not with violence, not with rage, with resolve. The kind that moves mountains, the kind that destroys dynasties, Tessa, he said, stepping toward me, there are only two paths now. I'm choosing the one that keeps you and Rowan alive. I swallowed hard. You don't know which one that is. I do. He exhaled, voice trembling. We break the curse. My mother's expression tightened. It isn't simple. Breaking a bond forged with blood magic, without the original caster, is nearly impossible. I crossed my arms. Great. I love impossible. Cade's eyes burned into mine. Tell us how. My mother hesitated. There are 3 components we must sever. List them, Cade growled. She held up a trembling hand. First, the anchor. Second, the tether. Third, the debt. I pinched the bridge of my nose. Could you please elaborate using actual people words? She pointed at Cade. The anchor is the piece of his wolf bound to Mara's will. She pointed at me. The tether is the blood Mara stole from your trial. She pointed at Rowan. The debt is the life Mara took to pay for the curse. Cade stiffened. Whose life? My mother exhaled. Her unborn child. The room froze. What? Cade whispered. Mara was... Yes, my mother said, and she sacrificed the pregnancy to fuel the curse. I felt sick. She took a life to weaponize yours. Cade looked ready to tear the world apart. How do we break it? We need to sever all 3. Destroy the anchor, reclaim the tether, repay the debt. And how do we do that? I asked. My mother hesitated. Then, we need the place where the curse was cast. Cade went still. The Luna's sanctum. The one beneath the Alpha Manor, I whispered. My mother nodded. But entering it means walking into the council's den. Cade rolled his shoulders, muscles bunching, eyes glowing bright gold. Then let them come. I stared at him. This isn't just dangerous. This is suicidal. Tessa, he said roughly, if we don't break the curse, if we don't take the fight to them, then you die, I die. Rowan dies. We lose everything. He stepped closer, close enough to feel the heat radiating off his skin. Close enough that the bond throbbed between us like a second heartbeat. I won't lose you again, he whispered. Not because of their lies, not because of fate, not because I was too afraid to fight. His voice broke. My wolf has spent years trying to get back to you. My throat tightened dangerously. Cade. Tessa, he murmured. I choose you, even if choosing you breaks the world. My mother cleared her throat softly. The sanctum isn't the only problem. Cade didn't look away from me. What else? She hesitated, then said, There is one more thing you need to know. We both turned to her. Her voice dropped. Once you go after the sanctum, the bond will finish awakening. The visions will intensify. And Tessa, your wolf will start the claiming process whether you want it to or not. I froze. Cade inhaled sharply. Rowan blinked up at us. What's claiming? I closed my eyes. Something, I said weakly. We're absolutely not ready to talk about. Cade's voice dropped to gravel. If the claiming starts, can it kill her? My mother hesitated too long. Yes, if the curse isn't broken in time. Cade's face went white with fury. Tessa, he said, we're leaving. Leaving where? I whispered. Back to Blackridge. To the Alpha Manor? I sputtered. To the council that wants me dead? To the sanctum Mara built to curse you? Cade? Yes, he growled, because ending this is the only way to save you. My heart slammed against my ribs. Rowan slipped his small hand into mine. Are you scared? I squeezed gently. Terrified. Cade stepped closer, his hand covering both mine and Rowan's. But we're doing it anyway, he said quietly. Together. And for the first time since the prophecy shattered my life, I believed we might actually win. Chapter 8. The last time I crossed into Blackridge territory, I was dragged before the council, accused of murder by herbal tea and exiled so hard they practically punted me over the border. So returning now, moon high, cloak tight around my shoulders, with Cade Wolf at my side and his son clutching my hand, felt like waltzing into a loaded gun chamber wearing a "Shoot Me" sticker. The trees thickened as we approached the old boundary line, those same towering pines that whispered my shame the day I walked out with nothing but a backpack, and my dignity, half of which I tripped over. But tonight, the forest didn't feel hostile. It felt watchful, like it recognized me. Cade walked slightly ahead, every step controlled, predatory. His wolf hovered close beneath his skin, protective, restless, furious. Even weakened by Mara's curse, he radiated alpha power like wildfire waiting for a spark. "Tessa," he murmured, voice low enough only I, and Rowan with his sharp little ears, could hear. "Stay behind me when we hit the clearing." "No," I whispered back. "You stay behind me. You're injured." "I'm fine." "You are walking like your spine is negotiating its contract." "I said I'm fine," Rowan piped up. "Daddy, you almost fell over a rock 5 minutes ago." Cade glared at him gently. "Traitor," I snorted. "I'm adopting him," Rowan grinned up at me. "Can I get pancakes?" "Absolutely," Cade sighed. "2 traitors." But under the banter, tension coiled tighter with each step toward the place I once called home. My mother moved at the rear, cloak drawn, expression carved from granite. She carried an old wooden staff, the same one that had belonged to my great-grandmother, Moira. I'd never seen her bring it out before. The last time that staff touched soil, Moira was alive. So great. No pressure. We reached the shimmering edge of the territory shield, the magical barrier that protected Black Ridge land. My warding wouldn't hide us past this point. My mother stepped up beside me. "When we cross, the council will feel it. They know your signature, Tessa. They will sense the seer rising." Cade growled low. "Let them come. They won't touch her." My mother shot him a look. "You can't fight 6 elders in your condition." "I'll kill them before I die." "That," I said, "is not comforting." "Good," Cade whispered. "I'm not trying to comfort you. I'm trying to keep you alive." My heart betrayed me with a traitorous flutter. Rowan clung to my hand tighter. "Is this where the bad wolves live?" "Not all of them are bad," I said gently, "but the ones who are very much live here." He nodded solemnly. "Okay, I bite ankles if they come close." Cade placed a hand over his son's head. "You stay behind Tessa and your grandmother." My mother smirked. "Smart child. He takes after your mate." Cade's eyes warmed despite himself. "Obviously." "Stop talking like we're happily mated," I hissed. "I'm trying very hard not to die from prophecy-induced cardiac arrest." Cade gave me that look, the one that made my big toe curl in rebellion. "We'll fix this," he murmured. "I swear it." I swallowed. Hard. Then, my mother touched her staff to the barrier. It rippled, groaned, then split open like a wound. The moment we stepped through, the world shifted, cold, heavy, like walking into a cathedral built with old bones and older grudges. Cade inhaled sharply. "They know." "How?" I whispered. He turned to me, eyes glowing. "Because my wolf just told me. They're coming." We slipped through the trees toward the old Alpha Manor, a sprawling stone fortress perched like a beast on the hill. Lights glowed in only a few windows. Cade pointed to the western side. "The sanctum's entrance is beneath the west wing, hidden behind the old cellar." "I remember," I said bitterly, "because that's where Mara cornered me once. She said the dark didn't scare her, only truths did." My mother hummed, voice dry. "She wasn't wrong." Rowan tugged my hand. "Tessa, is the ghost here?" I blinked. "What ghost?" "The lady," he said, "the one who watches Daddy." Cade and I froze. "What lady?" Cade asked slowly. Rowan pointed toward the manor. "Her, the one with the red dress." My mother inhaled sharply. I followed Rowan's gaze, and nearly swallowed my tongue because standing at the window of the old Alpha's study was a woman, tall, beautiful, hair like rivers of gold, eyes gleaming like molten copper. A Luna. Mara, only she wasn't alive. Her outline flickered like candlelight in the wind. Her lips twisted into a smile that chilled every drop of blood in my veins. Cade's entire body went rigid. "That's not possible." My mother's voice was barely audible. The sanctum was her anchor. If the curse wasn't fully broken at her death, her spirit could still linger. "Fabulous," I muttered. "The ex-Luna didn't just ruin our lives while alive. Now she's haunting us too." Cade grabbed my hand before I could storm past him. "Tessa, wait." His voice shook. His hand didn't. "She can't hurt you." "No," I said softly. "But someone still alive can." Cade's jaw locked. Because whoever wanted to finish Mara's work was inside that manor watching us approach. We slipped around the back, dodging patrolling wolves who moved like shadows. Cade used hand signals, old warrior language, and my mother and I followed. Rowan moved silently between us, shockingly steady for a child who'd just seen a ghost. We reached the cellar door. Cade placed his hand on the wood. It groaned, creaked, then opened with a whisper of magic. The air inside was freezing, old, burning with the residue of spells woven from blood and betrayal I swallowed. "We're really doing this." Cade stepped in first, voice low and sure. "We are." I followed, Rowan and my mother close behind. Then, a whisper slithered across the room. "Welcome home. Alpha." The door slammed shut behind us. Mara's laugh echoed from the walls. And every candle in the sanctum lit at once, revealing symbols drawn in blood. My blood. Cade spun toward me, fury and fear crashing across his face. "Tessa, don't move!" My mother thrust her staff between us and the sigils. "They're active. The curse is still alive." My heart pounded. Cade's wolf snarled. Rowan pressed against my side. Then, a figure stepped out of the shadows. A man, tall, broad, eyes cold as winter. Beta Jace Marrow. He smiled. "Hello, Alpha. Hello, Seer. Welcome to the heart of your undoing." Chapter 9. Jace's smile didn't reach his eyes. It never had. But now, standing inside the Luna's sanctum, surrounded by blood sigils and flickering candlelight, it looked wrong, stretched too tight, like he'd peeled it off someone else's face and pinned it on. Rowan whimpered. Cade stepped in front of him instantly. And me? My wolf pressed hard against my skin, whispering the obvious. Danger, betrayal, kill. For once I agreed with her. "Don't bother trying to shift," Jace said, voice smooth as poison poured over ice. "The sanctum suppresses alpha dominance. Mara designed it that way." Cade bared his teeth. "You planned this." "Oh yes," Jace replied, "for a very long time." He stepped forward, boots clicking softly against stone behind him. The symbols glowed, a sickly red gold that hummed with something alive. My stomach twisted. "This started with you," Jace said, eyes landing on me. "The little Omega who should have been culled at birth." Cade launched forward so fast the air cracked. But the moment his foot crossed the inner ring, he hit an invisible force and slammed into the stone wall, choking on a roar. "Cade!" I cried, rushing toward him. My mother yanked me back. "Don't touch the sigils!" Cade coughed, shaking, vision swimming. "Jace," he growled, voice shredded. "You pathetic, power-drunk—" "Spare me," Jace said mildly. "I'm the only reason your pack survived these past years." "Survived?" I hissed. "You turned them into blind sheep." "A necessary sacrifice," he said. "The alpha line needed correction. Your father was weak. You were worse, and then—" His gaze snapped to me. "The seer bloodline awakened, threatening every plan our ancestors built." My blood iced. "Our?" "Yes," Jace said simply. "You think Mara acted alone? Mara was a pawn, a womb with ambition, useful but replaceable." Cade's voice dropped to a lethal whisper. "Replaceable? With who?" Jace smiled, and the answer hit me like a blade. "With me." Rowan gasped. Cade went still. You plan to take the alpha seat, I said, voice shaking. I plan to restore it, Jace corrected. The prophecy said a seer would end a dynasty. I ensured it happened, on my terms. Cade spat blood, pushing himself upright. You killed my father. I freed him, Jace said, eyes gleaming. He discovered the truth about Tessa's lineage, that the seer's mate becomes unstoppable. He wanted to break the cycle, so I helped him die quickly. My knees buckled. Cade's grief echoed raw through the bond. You lying bastard, he rasped. Yes, Jace said, shrugging. But a successful one. My mother lifted her staff. Why bring us here? Why now? Because the curse has only one purpose, Jace said, gaze burning, to kill the seer before her power matures. And Cade? I whispered. He tilted his head. Collateral damage. Though personally, I'd enjoy watching him break when you die. Rowan growled. A sound small but shockingly wolf-like Cade grabbed him protectively. Jace tapped the sigils with his boot. This room is primed. Tessa enters the final ring. The curse completes. Her heart stops. The bond collapses. Cade's wolf dies with it. Cade slammed his fist against the barrier, eyes glowing. You won't touch her. Oh, but I don't have to, Jace said softly. She will walk into it herself. The visions hit me before I could brace, not the soft, flickering ones, the gentle warnings, the trembling glimpses. This was a storm. Cade screaming my name, my body collapsing, blood soaking the sanctum floor, the council watching, Jace placing a crown on his own head, Rowan crying over my body. I hit the ground, gasping. Cade roared, smashing against the barrier until his knuckles split. Tessa! I forced my eyes open. Cade was trying to reach me, hands clawing at the air barrier, body shaking with fury, with fear, with something deeper. My mother knelt beside me. The gift is fully awakened. The sanctum is amplifying it. She can't hold the visions. She doesn't need to hold them, Cade growled. She needs to fight them. Jace laughed. She can't. The curse binds to fear. I swallowed a scream. That was when Rowan stepped forward. Small, determined, terrified. Stop hurting her, he said. Jace laughed. What will you do, pup? Whimper at me? Rowan's eyes flashed. Silver, Moira's silver. My mother gasped. He's not just sensing visions, he's channeling them. What? Cade said sharply. Rowan stretched out his hand toward the sigils, and they flickered, as if something inside him was interfering. I see you, Rowan whispered. I see the bad parts of you. Jace stiffened. Rowan's voice deepened, echoing with something ancient. I see what you did. I see the truth. Tears sprang to my eyes. Rowan, stop! But it was already too late. The sanctum's lights exploded. Power ripped through the room, wild, electric, blinding. It slammed into Jace, knocking him back. The sigils on the floor glowed, then cracked like lightning-splitting stone. Cade shouted, Tessa, now! My wolf surged, snapping chains I didn't know existed. My vision sharpened, colors too bright, sounds too crisp. The sanctum's magic responded. I wasn't prey anymore. I was the seer. I stood, energy crackling at my fingertips. Jace stared at me, horror replacing arrogance. No, he muttered. No, she shouldn't be fully awakened. Mara weakened the blood. Mara bound the wrong alpha, I said. And the room shook with my voice, with the wrong blood, with the wrong time. Cade's eyes widened. Tessa, I'm not dying for your prophecy, I said. I'm ending yours. Jace snarled, lunging. You don't know how... I raised my hand. The sigils obeyed. My wolf howled inside me. Thrill, pain, fury, everything at once. Rowan clung to Cade, trembling, and I stepped into the circle, only this time it didn't kill me. It bent, twisted, obeyed. Jace screamed, clutching his chest as his anchor, the false bond Mara forged, snapped free from Cade. Cade gasped, collapsing to one knee. Power surged from the circle into me, burning, searing, rewriting. I screamed, but I didn't fall. The visions tore through me, thousands endless, future and past colliding. Then, silence. I stood in the center of the broken sigils, heart hammering, chest burning with something new. A new prophecy. My prophecy. Cade lifted his head, eyes wide, voice raw. "Tessa, what did you see?" My voice shook. "I saw who cast the curse." Cade's breath hitched. "Mara." "No," I whispered. "Mara was the puppet." The room stilled. Jace laughed, not with joy but terror. "You won't say it, you can't say it." I stared into Cade's eyes, then said the name that shattered the world. "It was your mother." Chapter 10. If silence had a shape, if it could reach out and wrap claws around our throats, that's what filled the sanctum when I spoke the words, "The curse was cast by your mother." Cade didn't move, didn't blink, didn't breathe. Rowan whimpered and grabbed his father's arm. Cade pulled him close automatically, muscle memory, not awareness, Jace, pinned against the cracked wall by the remnants of my seer's awakening, let out a hoarse, broken laugh. "Amazing, isn't it?" he croaked. "How the truth always tastes like ash when it finally hits the tongue." Cade still didn't move. His eyes, usually storm gray rimmed with gold, looked empty, like the truth had punched straight through his ribs and ripped out the part of him that still believed the world had rules. "My mother," he whispered. "Not Mara, not you, not fate." "Cade?" I reached toward him. He stepped back like I'd struck him. Rowan's wide eyes filled with tears. "Daddy?" Cade blinked, and a small piece of him returned, a protective instinct so ingrained it survived even the apocalypse. He cupped Rowan's head gently. "I'm here, pup. I'm here." Then his gaze snapped to Jace. Slow, dangerous, deadly. "What did you do with her?" Jace smirked, even as power burned across his skin. "Me? Nothing. Your mother died long before any of this began. Her spirit, her legacy, her orders. Now that's another story." Cade snarled, barely human. "How long did you know?" Jace's answer was soft enough to break bone. "Always." Something inside Cade shattered. The air around him changed, went sharp, cold, vibrating with lethal alpha dominance despite the sanctum's suppressive magic. My wolf crouched low in my chest, not afraid, ready to kill. But I touched his arm gently, and Cade broke. "Tessa," he whispered. "She was supposed to be the good one. She taught me honor, duty, loyalty. She raised me to protect my pack." I swallowed hard. "She believed hurting you was protecting the pack." "No," he said, voice cracking. "She believed hurting me was the price to protect her own power." He pressed a trembling hand to his chest, as if trying to hold himself together. My heart cracked for him, for Rowan, for the boy inside Cade who'd grown up thinking his mother was a pillar of the moon's will. Jace finally pushed off the wall, staggering. She feared the prophecy, feared what the seer's mate would become, feared losing the throne. He shrugged casually. Mara was merely her scapegoat. The truth hit Cade like a blow. "My mother," he whispered, "killed my father." Jace smiled. "And she nearly killed you. Twice." Cade lunged, but I threw my hand out, catching the sanctum's power before it erupted. "No," I shouted. "Not like this. You kill him here. The curse completes." Cade froze mid-snarl, trembling. "He deserves to die." "Yes," I said simply, "but you don't." His breath hitched. The bond between us pulsed painfully, like fate was trying to re-thread itself after being torn apart. "Tessa," he rasped, "tell me she didn't choose this. Tell me my mother didn't damn us both." I forced myself to step closer, forced myself to meet his grief, his rage, his shattered belief. "She wasn't the mother you thought she was," I whispered. "But that doesn't change the man you are." He closed his eyes. "I don't know who I am anymore." "You're the alpha who came back for me," I said softly. "The father who would burn the world for his son. The wolf who broke a curse just by surviving it." His breath trembled. My wolf nudged at the bond gently, offering comfort instead of fire. Rowan wiped his eyes with the back of his fist. Daddy's still daddy, even if his mom was bad. Cade inhaled sharply, and something steadied inside him. I will not let my mother rule from the grave, he whispered. Then he turned to me, eyes burning with raw resolve. Tessa, tell me how to break the curse. I nodded and pointed to the sigils. There are 3 components left to sever: the anchor, the tether, the debt. We've shattered the anchor by awakening the seer. The tether is the blood Mara stole. The debt, I swallowed. We must repay the life she took. And how? Cade demanded. Jace straightened, breathing ragged. That part is easy. His smile turned feral. You kill me. Cade blinked. What? I am the last living piece of your mother's curse, Jace said, spreading his arms. The final blood she used to bind it. The debt she paid wasn't just the child she sacrificed, it was the beta she groomed. I am the final tether, Cade growled. You expect me to believe? Tessa knows, Jace said calmly. She felt it when the sanctum responded. My blood is in every sigil. My loyalty fed every thread of the spell. My stomach twisted. He was right. It would break the curse, I whispered. Cade's jaw clenched. So you can die a martyr? No, Jace said. So I can win. He moved faster than any of us could react straight toward me. Cade roared, shifting midair despite the sanctum's suppression. But Jace slammed into the inner circle, hand clamping around my wrist. The curse surged, the sigils blazed, my heart stuttered. Cade howled my name. Rowan screamed. My mother thrust her staff into the ground, magic bursting outward and cracking the inner circle. Jace snarled, The seer dies with the curse! And Cade leapt through the collapsing barrier. He hit Jace like a thunderstrike. My wrist tore free as Cade's jaws clamped around Jace's throat. Jace choked out a laugh, even as blood poured down his chest. This was always fate. Alpha. Cade growled deep, final, merciless, and tore out his throat. Jace's body fell. The sigils burst in a blinding wave of light. The sanctum shook violently. I felt the curse break, felt it crack, crumble, collapse, felt its death cry tearing through the air like a storm ending. Then silence. The sigils burned out. The magic evaporated. And Cade stumbled, shifting back, chest heaving, blood dripping down his arms. He looked at me like a man terrified he'd just destroyed the world. Tessa, he whispered, are you... I rushed to him, his arms wrapped around me instantly, desperately, like he feared I'd disappear. The bond surged so strong it nearly knocked us both to our knees. I'm here, I breathed into his neck. Cade, I'm here. He exhaled a shuddering breath against my skin. The curse, it's gone. I can feel it. My mother sagged against the staff. Rowan ran to us, clinging to Cade's leg. And for one fragile heartbeat, we were safe, but only for a heartbeat, because the sanctum's final layer cracked open behind us, revealing a hidden chamber, and inside it, a wolf, asleep breathing, alive. Cade inhaled sharply. Gods, he whispered. Is that... My mother nodded grimly. Yes, your mother. Alive, waiting, and waking up. Epilogue. They say some truths are buried for a reason. Some wolves too. But the thing about secrets, the deeper you bury them, the louder they howl when they claw their way back to the surface. The sanctum collapsed around us in a trembling hum, like the magic itself was exhaling after holding its breath for years. Dust rained down, heat shimmered along the cracked stone. And in the innermost chamber, illuminated by the dying glow of the sigils, lay the woman who shaped Cade's entire life, Luna Seraphine Wolf, the last Luna, beloved matriarch, hidden monster. Her chest rose and fell slowly, too slowly for a living wolf. Magic pulsed around her, dense and suffocating. She looked ageless, untouched by time, preserved by a spell so old even my mother gasped. Cade stepped forward, Rowan clinging to his leg. She's alive. My mother's voice was brittle, alive but not awake, a suspended state. She anchored herself between death and memory. "Why?" I whispered. "Because she knew," my mother said. "The day the seer awakened, she would be exposed. She needed a final chance to finish what she began." Cade's muscles coiled, raw pain twisting across his face. "My mother wanted to kill you, wanted to kill our bond." "Well," I said, swallowing hard, "she's really going to hate this part then." Cade blinked. "What part?" I stepped beside him, close enough that Rowan was tucked safely between us. Close enough that the mate bond pulsed, steady and unbroken, alive in a way it never could be while the curse existed. I took Cade's hand. He jerked slightly, surprise, hope, fear, all mixing in his eyes. "Tessa," he whispered, "what are you doing?" "Making a choice," I said, "my choice." Because all my life, people made choices for me. The council, Mara, my mother, Cade, once, long ago, by mistake. But this moment, this was mine. I turned to Luna Seraphine's sleeping form, wolf trapped between worlds, and spoke the truth she never wanted to hear. "I'm not your prophecy," I said softly, "and I'm not your threat." The air shifted. Even asleep, Seraphine's wolf stirred. "But I am the seer," I continued, "and I see you, all of you. The love, the fear, the ambition, the desperation. You weren't trying to protect the pack from me." Cade swallowed, voice cracking. "Tessa, you were trying to protect the throne from him." Cade flinched. Because he knew. Everyone knew. His father hadn't wanted Seraphine to rule after him. He wanted Cade, and whatever mate destiny gave him, to lead with unity, not fear. Seraphine couldn't allow that. She had tried to break the bond before it ever formed. I squeezed Cade's hand. He squeezed back, hard. "Let her wake," Cade said through clenched teeth. "I want her to face what she did." My mother stiffened. "Cade, no. She deserves justice," he said. "I deserve answers." Rowan's tiny voice whispered, "Daddy, I'm scared." Cade knelt quickly, pulling him close. "You're safe, pup. Nothing is going to happen to you." "But what about Tessa?" Rowan sniffled. "Is she safe too?" Cade looked up at me, and I saw the truth in his eyes. He couldn't face his mother alone. He couldn't lose me. He couldn't survive another betrayal. He was terrified, not of her, but of the moment we'd all been running from, the claiming. The bond was fully awakened now, pulsing, ready, hungry. I stepped closer and cradled Rowan's cheek gently. "Your dad's right. I'm safe." Cade whispered, "Tessa." "Together?" I asked quietly. His breath shook. "Together." My mother raised her staff, power flickering along the ground. "Stand back. Once the sanctum collapses completely, the spell sustaining her sleep will break." Cade straightened, gripping my hand so tightly it hurt. "What will she be like when she wakes?" My mother hesitated. "The same wolf who cast the curse." "That's what I thought," he murmured. The chamber trembled. Rocks fell. The air thickened with power, old, cold, lethal. Seraphine Wolf stirred. Her fingers twitched. Her chest expanded. Cade leaned closer, voice shaking with something brutal and raw. "You lied to me. You killed my father. You tried to kill my mate. And you tried to kill my son." Her eyelids fluttered. Rowan buried his face in my neck, and then Seraphine's eyes opened. Golden, ancient, sharp as blades. Her gaze fixed on Cade first, then slid to me. Her lips curled. "The seer lives," she whispered. Cade stepped in front of me instantly. "Not for you to touch." She smiled, a cold, knowing thing. "You chose her, even after what she will cost you." Cade's wolf surged. "She doesn't cost me anything." "Oh," Seraphine murmured, "but she will." I stepped forward before Cade could lose his mind. "Seraphine Wolf," I said evenly, "hear me." Her gaze snapped to mine. I felt the weight of her power, her fear, her fury, her desperation to control fate. You tried to kill me, I said. You tried to kill him. You almost succeeded. Her jaw clenched. But you didn't. I lifted Cade's hand, showed her the bond pulsing between us. You lost. Her lips twisted. You think you won? Yes, I said. We did. Then you are wrong, she whispered. Because you have seen the prophecy, you know the truth. Cade stilled. What truth? Seraphine's voice softened into something cruelly delicate. One of you will still die. Cade snarled. She's lying. I swallowed hard. She might be. Rowan lifted his head. Tessa, don't leave us. I kissed his forehead. Never. Seraphine watched, expression unreadable. Your bond is strong, but destiny is stronger. Cade's voice was ice. Destiny doesn't own us. Seraphine tilted her head. Then why are you still inside my sanctum, sealing the prophecy with your presence? The chamber trembled again. Cracks split the floor. Magic roared, whirling around Cade and me. My mother gripped her staff. Tessa, Cade, the claiming, it's starting. Rowan's eyes went round. What's claiming again? Cade's face went pale. Tessa! I grabbed his shoulders. Cade Wolf, I whispered. Choose me. He didn't hesitate. Not for a heartbeat. I choose you, he growled, voice breaking. I will always choose you. The bond snapped tight, too tight, like a star igniting. My wolf lunged forward, claiming him. His wolf surged, claiming me. A burst of light exploded from our chests. White gold, pure, unstoppable Seraphine snarled and stumbled back, shielding her eyes. Rowan shrieked and clung to my mother. The chamber cracked open, the sanctum collapsing, everything shaking. And Cade pulled me into him as the magic consumed us both. The claiming completed. The curse stayed dead. And destiny. Destiny bent. 6 weeks later. The cabin looks different now. Not because it's cleaner, it's not. Rowan has invented a new category of mess. Not because Cade reforged the boundary wards. He did and got electrocuted once. Not because my mother has claimed the spare room and redecorated aggressively. It's different because it's full, alive, ours. Cade stands beside me on the porch, arm warm around my waist. Rowan chases fireflies across the yard, laughing. The moon hangs low, silver and soft, safe, peaceful. Cade kisses my temple. Thinking again? Always, I sigh. Occupational hazard of being a seer. Anything worrying? No, I say honestly. For once, the visions aren't warnings. He hums. Prophecy-free evening? Prophecy-free life, I say, leaning into him. He smiles. A real one this time, the kind that reaches his eyes. Good, because I promised you forever. And I promised you pancakes. Those are equally important. I lace my fingers with his. You know she was wrong. Seraphine? He asks quietly. I nod. One of us didn't die. Cade kisses my forehead. We rewrote fate. No, I say, heart warm and full. We chose our own. He leans in close, voice low and reverent. Tessa Wolf, my mate, my future. My wolf purrs. I smile. Took you long enough. He laughs, deep, soft, beautifully alive. And beneath that moonlit porch, with Rowan laughing and my mother humming and the bond humming stronger than prophecy, I whisper the ending fate never predicted. We rise together. Thank you for wandering these wild moonlit paths with me. If Tessa and Cade's journey stirred something in you, hope, fire, or just a fierce belief in love that refuses to break, thank you for listening all the way to the end. Your support keeps these stories alive. If you'd like more fated mate sagas, more dangerous alphas, more omegas who choose their own destiny, hit subscribe, leave a comment for our pack, and share this story with someone who still believes in love written in the stars. Until next time, run wild and stay with the moon.